Shalom Israel, Shalom, Shalom. Brother Naquam, watchman for Israel, coming back at you with these precepts and another cold cut, giving, of course, all honor and all glory to Yahweh. By Shema Mashiach, like Yahushai. Double honors to the elect elders of the house of David. Slakia that's been in this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting for the second coming of Mashiach, like Yahushai. A hearty, mighty Shalom to all of the mighty men. Slakia, bear with me, of the Most High God, who are out there on the highways and byways, pushing this truth, magnifying the ministry, presenting their body as a living sacrifice, and enduring all things for the elect's sake. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the men that may not be out there. Slacky, bear with me 1 second. On the highways and byways, but they're working on it. They're studying, they're praying, they're fasting. They're getting built up in the spirit. They're moving in the spirit of our righteous forefathers and abounded in the work of the Lord. And last but not least, shalom to the Aquat, the sincere sisters out there, hold it down in the households, reverencing their husbands, being submissive and diligent, and moving in the spirit of our righteous foremothers. Shalom, shalom. Shabbat shalom to everybody tuning in live. Adelija, Salaki, if I'm mispronouncing the name. Darimple, Ancients New, Why Don't We? Shalom, King. Shalom to everybody else tuning in and that will tune in. All praise to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. The topic of this live stream, Shalom to Wad Yashai, Andre Jacob Miners, Sabbath Q&A, various breakdowns, and I believe I labeled it China Wants War, right? So Sabbath Q&A, various breakdowns, and China Wants War. So I want to kick it off with the book of St. Mark, the 13th chapter, right? This is St. Mark, chapter 13, and I'm going to get verse 35. And this is, if anybody has any questions, I did want to dedicate a portion of this for Q&A. Haven't done a Q&A in a while. I believe somebody reached out via Instagram and said, when are you guys going to do another Q&A? So I want to take this time, to be able to answer questions if there are any questions pertaining to anything biblical, right? St. Mark chapter 13, and I'm going to start at verse 30. It reads, verily I say unto you that this generation shall not pass till all these things be done. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. But if that day and that hour knoweth no man, know not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son, but the Father. So the Lord is speaking about the day of the Lord. Nobody really knows the exact hour, second, minute. You have people that have tried to guess the day of the Lord. You have even Israel, man, who has strived to try to get into astronomy and have used in certain gifts that the Most High gave them, the Aztecs, the Mayans, which are really the Aztecs are the ancient Issacharites, and the Mayans are the ancient Zebulonites. And they've even constructed calendars and tried to gauge when the end of the world would be. Man. I believe they called it 2012. You've had false prophets like Nostradamus. You've had other men that tried to say, okay, the Lord is coming back in this year. No man knows when the day of the Lord is going to be. Now, the day of the Lord is speaking really about when all hell breaks loose. And ultimately when Yahushua returns, right? That's the day of the Lord. Nobody knows when it's going to go down. And nobody knows when Yahushua is going to crack that sky open. That's ultimately, and Yahushua doesn't even know. Only the Heavenly Father knows that. We don't know. So what makes you think man figured that thing out when Yahushua doesn't even know when he's going to return? He's going to get that green light and leap out that throne like a fierce man of war, man. Like I tell you in Wisdom of Solomon, it's like I tell you in Wisdom of Solomon, the 18th chapter. So I actually want to pull these precepts up on the screen, so bear with me. Right, bear with me 1 second. Let's pull this up on the screen. All right, bear with me. Right, so no man really knows, man. And this is why we prepare ourselves through the Spirit, through prayer, fasting, beseeching Yahweh Bashim Yahushua for mercy. Right, doing the work of the Lord, because we want to be delivered in those days. Now I want to get this. I want to pull this up in St. Mark, the 13th chapter. So bear with me 1 second, right? We're going to pull this up, St. Mark. Make sure the screen is showing. What do I do with this? Slocky, bear with me 1 second. I want to make sure this is all showing on the screen. All right, I'm going to finish this precept, and then I want to get into this. Brother has a question. All right, Khan. Bear with me. And then you have people, every year somebody has another date on when Yahweh Shah is going to return, right? I remember when I first came into the truth, everybody was saying September, I believe that was September 20, that was like 2016, 2014, 20. There was one year, it was like my first few years in the truth. There was this big thing going on where everybody said the Lord was going to return in September. You brothers has been in the truth about 10 years, you know. And that was a big deal, man. And a lot of brothers in the truth, they kind of got into that thing. Prior to me coming into the truth, there was a big 2000 deal, man. Right? Or the Lord is returning in the year 2000, and people got caught up in that thing, man. Right? This is St. Mark chapter 13 and 32. Right? It reads, but if that day and that hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son, but the Father. Take ye heed, watch and pray, for ye know not when the time is. So take heed as a warning, an admonishment, for you to make sure your spirit is right, to make sure that you're doing what it takes to be delivered. And the Lord said, watch and pray. So brothers should be, and we harp on watching and praying constantly, man. We always tell brothers to watch. And I really want to do a cold cut one day on showing brothers different sites to watch, or in terms of how to see the current events, whistleblowers, inside guys, the best alternative media sites, different types of blogs you could check out, and guys that got that inside information for World War III, for rather pestilence or earthquakes, or inside guys, boots on the ground, seeing what's actually happening. You got people that really do that, man. And brothers have to know how to watch, right? Watch and pray. And you got to pray in this thing, and not pray once a day or twice a day, right? For ye know not when the time is. For the Son of Man is as a man taking a far journey, who left his house and gave authority to his servants and to every man his work, and commanded the porter to watch. So Yahweh Shah took a far journey. Where's that journey? Up in the spirit world, right? When you go to, I'm going to open up another blue letter. Right, then I'm gonna get into these questions. When you go into Luke 19, going to Acts Luke the 24th chapter, the gifts that Yahweh Shah given the apostles prior to his journey was his wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And the Lord expects you to take this knowledge and this understanding and these talents he's giving you, combined with watching and prayer, to ensure your deliverance, man. Right, let me get this in Luke 19 real quick. This ain't Luke chapter 19. And I'm going to start at verse 14, right? St. Luke chapter 19 at 14. It reads, I'm going to start at 13. Actually, I'm going to start at 12. Salaki, Luke 19 and 12. He said, therefore, a certain nobleman went into a far country for to receive for himself a kingdom and to return. So that's the same thing as Mark the 13th chapter, right? Yahweh Shah, he's the nobleman. The nobleman is a king, and Yahweh Shah is a king. The far country, a country is really just a dwelling place, right? So Yahweh Shah, he went up to the third heaven, to the spirit world, to receive for himself a kingdom and to return. And he called his 10 servants and delivered them 10 pounds and said unto them, occupy till I come. And brothers have to be occupied until the Lord returns. Not occupied for 3 years, then you fall out. Not occupied for 5 years, then you go back in the world and smoke a blunt. Not occupied for 6 months, then you go back and be a nigga, man. He said, occupy. You have a time limit, a deadline, right? Till I come. Every job has a deadline. Every project, okay, we need this project done at 6 months. The boss comes to you, okay, I need you to do this by the end of the day. I need this done by the end of the week, right? The Lord says he needs you to be in his truth, doing the work until he returns, right? And this is what Mark 13 is going into. The Son of Man is taking that far journey, who left his house, right? And gave authority to his servants. So you have authority in this thing, right? To teach, to rebuke, to cast out demons, to study, to be able to answer questions, to be able to seal the elect, and to every man his work. So brothers, you have to know your work. Some brothers are teachers. Some brothers are readers. Certain brothers are both. Certain brothers are scholars. Certain brothers are historians. Certain brothers are orators. Certain brothers are good at arms. Certain brothers can build things. Certain brothers are artistic with flyers and digital work. Certain brothers are counselors. Certain brothers do manifold things. Certain brothers, we got brothers in the camp that are chefs, that could cook, that could on feast days, that could record. They're good with technology. We got brothers that have all types of gifts that they bring to the body, right? And the Lord, and you have to tap into your to your spirit to see what is your gift, man. And that's your work. And commanded the porter to watch. Watch ye therefore, for ye know not when the master of the house cometh, right? At even or at midnight or at the cock crowing or in the morning. And a lot of Jakes, you have these jobs and you get jammed up, man. I just saw a minute, they cut a lot of people at the plantation. They cut like 100 people at the plantation because Jake wasn't watching, and you got these Edomites that coming around, these top upper Edomites, and they don't really, honestly, they don't work in that facility. They work like in an office or somewhere. So Jake, they be on the floor, they in there playing basketball with damn paper balls, and they damn swinging it. They playing baseball, doing push-ups, smoking damn vape, man, And I try to come around and say, hey, look, so-and-so's coming, and then they all try to get back to work, but I'm not always right. I got to do my own thing, man. So these guys, they got caught up in that thing, right? And one of those top guys came around and saw them, and they wasn't watching. They was freaking off, doing God knows what, man. And then the so-called, this just happened. The so-called, and this happens all the time, right? The so-called supervisor or boss came around, and he kind of saw him not watching, not working, man. And then he looked at him and said, we can't use you guys no more. Give me your badge, man. One of those guys was an Edomite. He started crying. The other guys, they was mad. But guess what? He had to get rid of them, man. Now, ultimately, that's on them because they wasn't watching. And they wasn't doing the work. And they got fired, man. And then guess what? You think they let that position stay void? No, the next day, it was a new guy. It was a new guy that came in and took their spot. Literally, an Edomite came in the next day and took their spot. And this can happen to any one of us on a spiritual level. Right? The Lord said, let me get this precept. I'm going to get into these questions. Right? Let's get this in Hebrews, the 4th chapter. You're like the brother said, riding the clock, man. And you ultimately tempting, you tempting the Most High. Right? I want Hebrews, the 3rd chapter, Salakia. No, I want Salakia, bear with me. Ephesians. I brought this up earlier. Right? This is Ephesians chapter 4. Right? This is Ephesians chapter 4 and 1. Then I want to get another precept in Hebrews, the 4th chapter. Right? This Ephesians 4 and 1. I, therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beseech you that ye walk worthy of the vocation wherewith ye are called. Yeah, man, if you were hired and you had an excellent resume, they expect you to live up to it. If you're a #1 draft pick for a sports team and you have a stellar background and you was a D1 athlete in high school, you was a top 5 or whatever, they expect you to live up to what they paying you for, man. They're giving these guys multi-million-dollar contracts with incentives and big signing bonuses. And when you step on the scene and you walk into that facility, you're expected to live up to it, man. You're expected to show up on time. You're expected to hit those numbers. You're expected to hit those shots and them game-winning free throws and keep your body in check. And you're expected to perform. So that's what the Lord means, walk worthy of the vocation wherewith ye are called. And this vocation is outside of the world. This vocation is what? Being a servant of the Most High, right? An evangelist, a teacher, a steward. And your job is to what? Be in His truth, watch, pray, teach the people, study, pray, fast. And if you're not walking worthy, we know what's going to happen of your vocation. We all know what a vocation is, right? People, they may not go to college, but they go to vocation school or vocational school. Right? Now, vocation is really just an occupation. Right? A person's employment is the definition of vocation, or main occupation, especially regarded as particularly worthy and requiring great dedication. So if you have a vocation, it requires great dedication. Man, you can't really take days off, man. You know? You can't call out. Oh, I can't go to camp, I'm calling out. You know, you fake coughing on the phone, you faking sick, man. The Most High didn't. Where's the account of the Most High giving us sick days? Okay, you get 3 sick days. Okay, you get 2 weeks of paid vacation. Okay, you have a 401k. All right, and then you get paid time off. All right, paid time off. If you go to 7 Sabbaths, 7 camps, and you keep 7 Sabbaths, you add hours that you can build up. So when you don't feel like keeping a Sabbath, you can put in these hours. And then you go to the heavenly clock that's connected from this earth to the third heaven, and everybody has a code. So your code is 7771. This mighty code. So you type in your code 7771. You put in how many hours you want to take off on the Sabbath. That's not in the Bible, man. You can't just go to the heavenly clock and punch in the code, man. So you can freak off on the Shabbat. You have to walk worthy of the vocation where you are called. You know, let me get this in Hebrews. All right, I'm gonna go back to Mark the 4th chapter. Mark the 13th chapter. Now I'm gonna get into these questions, Lord willing. Right? This is it's like Hebrews chapter 4, and I want to start at 14. I'm gonna start at 13. Hebrews chapter 4 and 13. Neither is there any creature that is not manifest in his sight, but all things are naked and open to the eyes of him with whom we have to do. Right. And like I said, I use the example of the workplace because, Jake, you know, that's what you get, man. You're on that plantation and you see what happens, man. They have cameras. Sometimes it's hidden cameras and people are watching you, and the Most High is watching you, man. A lot of people get fired at work. I didn't know that there was a camera right there, and they pull you up and they say, look, we saw you stealing merchandise. You know, we saw you off the clock. We saw you taking breaks. We saw you doing God knows what, and they'll fire you, and you didn't even know that they were watching. And the Most High is watching you, man. Every time you're taking days off, you're slothful, you're lukewarm, and the Most High sees you. Right? He sees you for what you really are, man. He's deep into your mind, and he knows what your meditations are. Verse 14. Seeing then we have a great high priest that is passed into the heavens, Yahushua, the Son of the Most High. Let us hold fast our profession. Like in that movie 300. When you watch that movie 300, you had the Spartans, you had the Arcadians, right? King Leonidas. If you haven't seen the movie 300, watch it after the Sabbath. King Leonidas, he asked the head guy from the Arcadians, he said, what is your profession? Right? He kind of pointed them out. One guy said he's a potter. I think one guy said he's like a librarian. Another guy said he's a blacksmith. Some guy said he's a cobbler, right? And then he asked the Spartans, he said, well, Spartans, what is your profession? And they kind of made that chant, man. As in, this is our profession. Our profession is being a soldier. We're not part-time potters and part-time cobblers and part-time soldiers, man. We are so. This is what we do. So your profession is what you do. And you can't really have that part-time spirit. Okay, I'm an Israelite, but I'm also a damn dope seller to my people. We had a brother, we had to deal like that. Okay, I'm in this truth and I sell weed to my people. You can't do that. Okay, I'm in this truth, but I'm also in the world. You have to hold fast to your profession. I don't know if anybody told brothers, but it's a recession, man. Right here in Babylon the Great, they had 2 negative quarters, and that's technically a recession. And then a recession, a lot of people get cut from their job. And this happens in real life. It may affect you, it may affect me, it may affect anybody, even on a personal level, on an economic level. You know, people are going to get fired, man, and they're going to make cuts. They're going to start making cuts. And these guys that sit in these big offices, they're going to pull everybody's name up and they're going to rate you. They're going to say, look, do we need this guy? Is this guy an asset? Can we put this guy in another position? Is he going to prosper? Is this guy about helping us make money? Has this guy been late? Has this guy taken days off? Has this guy performed? Has he exceeded expectations? And they're going to put all this on the table for every individual, and they're going to say, no, this guy hasn't done those things. This guy hasn't done it. And they're going to, these guys that didn't hold fast to profession, they were showing up late. They didn't exceed expectations. It was clocking out all the time. Running up the clock. They're going to let those guys go, man. This is in real life. That's what happens in recessions. People get cut. You get that knock, right? At your cubicle, your boss do this, right? And he say, hey, look, I wish you the best of luck. You're a great person, but we're beginning to make cuts. And unfortunately, things aren't just working out, and they'll say whatever they want to say, right? But basically, you're fired, man. And that's how it is in this truth. The Most High fires people. So if you're not holding fast to profession, it's over, man. That's why St. Mark chapter 13 and 35, it says, he gave authority to his servants and to every man his work, and commanded the porter to watch. So you're supposed to keep your job. Every man has work that they have to do. And if you're not doing the work of the Lord, then you're not going to make it, right? And you're not holding fast your profession. It reads, watch ye therefore, for ye know not when the master of the house cometh, at even, or at midnight, or at the cock crowing, or in the morning. And these are different periods of the nighttime, right? The even is really around 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then midnight, that's 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. The cock crowing is 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. And the morning is 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. Right? Those are the 4 watches of the night. If you look up Roman watches of the night, they should go into it. Right? The Romans had 4 watches of the night, and Yahushua knew that. Israel had different watches, right? 10 p.m. or it's like a sunset, I believe, to 10 p.m., 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., and 2 a.m. to sunrise. So these are the different watches of the night. Let me pull this up real quick. So like, let me grab this charger. Right, so brothers could clearly see, right, the different watches of the night. Right, so Yahushua is going to return in the night. Why the nighttime? Because the nighttime represents darkness. The nighttime represents sin. The nighttime represents confusion. Right, the Lord said in Psalms chapter 104, this is when all the beasts of the forest creep forth, man. And that's why Yahushua represents the sun on a spiritual level and certain breakdowns and certain precepts. Right, let me get this real quick. Right, this is Psalms chapter 104 and verse 20. Thou makest darkness, and it is night, wherein all the beasts of the forest do creep forth. Right, foxes, owls, different predators, they come out and they prosper and dominate in the night. Right, certain animals are nocturnal creatures. They only come out at night. They have certain, and we went into it before, they have a certain chemical in their eyes that allows them to see at night. Like I said, owls, foxes, certain lions and felines, they can actually see at night. You really can't do it. But on a spiritual level, these beasts are these other nations, right? And ungodly men who creep forth and dominate in the night. And Yahushua is going to come in the night, like a thief in the night, but he can come at any time of the night. He can come in the first watch, right? 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Spiritually, that could be, we all know it's prophecy. You have the trumpets and the seals, right? But this is just a spiritual time. He can come at any time when all hell break loose, right? The first watch or the second watch, that's 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. The third watch is 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. And the fourth watch is 3 a.m. to 6 p.m. And it gets darker and darker in the nighttime. Around 6 p.m. it's not really that dark, around, so I can bear with me. 9 p.m. it's not really that. I mean, it's getting dark, but it's not that dark twilight. But around midnight to 3 a.m. and 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. is damn near pitch black out. You know, even the apostles saw Yahushua walking on the sea in a fourth watch, which is spiritual. So when Yahushua's given these time periods, he said at any time of this dark time period, I can return. Verse 36, lest coming suddenly he find you sleeping, and what I say unto you, I say unto all, watch. All right, so let's deal with these questions. All right, I believe there was about maybe 3 to 4 questions. So from Terrell Barnett, Shalom King, can you explain how the earth was repopulated? Well, let me actually pull it up on the screen. Right, I'm gonna try to knock out some questions, Lord willing. All right, so you know it's good to have questions, right? And your question may be somebody else's question. Some brothers are ashamed to ask questions, or they may not feel comfortable, you know. But we got to ask questions. We'll never know unless we ask. All right, this is Terrell Barnett. Right, take advantage of the resources the Most High is implementing in these last days, man. Right, to be able to receive Most High willing, you know, the answers that you need, whether it's from prophecy or rather it's marriage or rather it's your walk in this truth, you know. This is from Terrell Barnett. Shalom King. Can you explain how the earth was repopulated after Noah? Was it by marrying cousins? Can you break down how it was not by incest? All right, well, let's deal with it. Now, when we understand, I want to lead this question up, right? Because that's actually a good question, right? Can you explain how the earth was repopulated after Noah? Was it by marrying cousins? Can you break down how it was not by incest? Right, now let's go to 1 Peter. Right, let's go to 1 Peter, the 3rd chapter. I'm gonna get about maybe 5 precepts, maybe more. Then I want to pull up maybe a timeline. I mean, a family tree of Noah's bloodline and kind of go into it. Right, then I want to show you different examples of how marriage was done in the ancient world and things that are not comely now and are not accepted by society or completely normal back then. Right, and I want to touch on that. Right, so this 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 20, right? 1 Peter 3 and 20. It reads, which sometime were disobedient, when once the long suffering of the Most High waited in the days of Noah, while the ark was a preparing, wherein few, that is, 8 souls were saved by water. So brothers know, or you should know, and if you didn't know, you're finding out that during the time of the flood, only 8 souls made it. Who are the 8 souls that made it during the time of Noah? Noah, obviously, and Noah's wife. Shem and Shem's wife. Japheth and Japheth's wife. Ham and Ham's wife. Those are 8 souls. 4 men and 4 wives. Those are the only people that made it out of the destruction that Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach Malak Yahushai, wa Alashadia, brought upon the earth in the ancient times. Now, with that being said, you may say, well, you have the so-called white man says you have 8 billion people. Chinese, these are worldly terms. Chinese, East Indians, Japanese, Ethiopians, South Africans, Congolese, Germans, French, Filipino, people of Fiji, Tasmanians, Aboriginal Australians, all these different ethnic groups. How did all these people come out of 8 people? I mean, well, it's simple, right? Let's go to Genesis 9, right? There's no great machine that the Lord gave Noah and said, I want you, Noah, to make all these different people. And they're all going to look a little bit different, and they're all going to do different things. Here's his great machine, and I'm going to give you this biometric code, and, you know, just scrub in first. You scrub in, and Noah put his lab coat on. Okay, then Noah put his safety goggles on, and, you know, Noah, he's looking at the instruction manual and what button to press, and he plugged it up to the outlet. And then Noah, he's taking DNA samples on a Petri dish. and he's mixing it up. Then he's putting it in the system. Then the system starts shaking, and out comes the Chinese man. Okay, then he makes another one. Then he adds a little bit of this, and he stirs up the pot. Then he puts it in. Then out comes the African man. An African man, he's looking like this. And then Noah, he takes a break. He goes, that didn't happen, man. Right? This is Genesis 9. Let's get straight to the point. Right? Genesis chapter 9 and verse 1. And the Most High blessed Noah and his sons and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. I want to pull that up on a blue letter. Right? Let's go to Genesis 9 and 1. I'm going to leave a question on the screen. And I want to go into this word, Genesis 9. Right? Let's go to Genesis 9 and 1. Right? So I can bear with me. Bear with me 1 second. I'm going to pull this up. All right, we're going to Genesis, the 9th chapter. All right, in verse 1. God blessed Noah and his sons and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. Now we know anytime it says be fruitful and multiply, it's dealing with sex, right? Just straight up and down. It's not speaking, because the so-called white man, he'll read this and he won't think of sex because he's a homosexual. So he'll think of cloning machines. He's cloning animals, man. You know, he'll think of all types of bugged out sorcery. Okay, the Most High wants us to multiply. That means make a cloning machine. No. And that's what Esau does. Because he can't be fruitful. You know, the so-called white man, he's having a negative birth rate. There are more Edomites dying than that's actually being born. You know, this is a big deal for an Edomite to have a child, man. They kind of, okay, they give them, at my so-called job, man, this plantation, not to digress, but this Edomite, he's talking about, okay, well, I'm having a child. And they're treating this guy like he's a king. They're giving him gifts. They're making sure he's rested. You know, they're giving this guy, he got a promotion off of that. You know, they're bringing him all types of stuff. Because if an Edomite's having a child, it's like that movie, goddamn, what's that? It was at the 11th hour, 20. I can't think of the movie. If brother seen the movie, it was a movie. I think it was at Eve, and it was Clive Owen in it, I believe, or some guy that was in it. And it's nobody can have any children anymore, right? But they found out that this Eve, and that's through the spirit, she was pregnant, right? They had the guy, I think the guy from Black Panther in it, and they found out she was pregnant, and everybody was trying to take that child. I think it was the 25th hour, some movie like that, you know. And they treated that woman like she was royalty because she was able to have a child. And that's how they treat that Edomite, man. You know? But we know through the spirit, when the Lord said, be fruitful and multiply, somehow getting down. Right? Now, I want to go into this word replenish. So the Lord said, replenish the earth. Yeah, that guy got an actual promotion, man. Right? They gave him gifts, and he's doing well in the world, man. You know? This is replenish. To be filled, to mass himself against, to be filled, to armed, fullness or abundance, to be full. So when the Lord said replenish, right, that means put more people on the earth. Right? That means put more people on the earth. To fill something up again. Right? Plenish. Like when something's plentiful, it's full. Then when you have to replenish it, right? Then when you have to replenish it, you put more people on the earth. Right? Refill. Like you replenish your gas tank. Your gas tank runs out, you refill it. Right? You may have a bottle of water, you drank it all, 2 gallons, you refill it. All the people died on the earth with a flood, you refill the people on the earth with sex, man, you know, by being fruitful and multiplying. Now, of course, I'm gonna pull up this Noah family tree. All right, let's pull this up so we can actually get down to the bottom of this. Right? I think the eldest sent the children of men. That may be the movie, I believe. Right? Yeah, that's the movie, Children of Men. Right? Yeah, Children of Men, man. Yeah, this Edomite trying to protect this Eve to have the last child. It was a decent movie, you know. But this is nevertheless, right? This is Noah's family tree to deal with the brother's question. Was it incest? Let's pull up Noah's family tree. So we know Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, right? Let's pull this up. So of course, the sons of Shem, they would have had to deal with the bloodline of their cousins, or the daughters of Japheth, or the daughters of Ham, the daughters of their own people. That's how it worked, man. Right? I mean, who else was they going to lay down with? There was no secret nation just hanging around, that survived the flood. And Noah said, all right, I want y'all to deal with the secret nation that survived the flood. Everybody else died, but there's a group of women that just survived. And y'all find those women. They live in the land of Shogad, right? Travel to the land of Shogad and you'll see them. No, that's not what happened, man. There's no secret land of Shogad that Shem had to travel to. The sons of Shem, they dealt with the daughters of Japheth. The daughters of Japheth, they dealt with the daughters of Ham, right? That's immediate. That's what happened immediately. And in process of time, as the sons of Shem began to multiply, the sons of Shem dealt with the daughters of Shem, right? So you had men like Abraham that dealt with Sarah. Sarah came from the bloodline of Shem. Abraham came from the bloodline of Shem, right? You had Isaac and Rebekah. Isaac and Rebekah are essentially, the world would call them second cousins, if you want to be technical. Jacob and Rachel and Leah, they were first cousins on their mother's side, so they had to have dealt with one another. Now, this is a family tree. Now, let's pull up a family tree of Abraham. All right. Like I said, there was no secret nation, so they had to deal with one another. All right. Bear with me. And I want to give you another account very quickly in the book of Exodus, the 2nd chapter. Right? So let me pull it. And that's how things were in the ancient world. We kept it within our bloodline. Right? We kept it within our bloodline. This is, let's see, Exodus, I believe it's 7. Right? Slocky, bear with me. I want to get this precept. I believe it's Exodus, the 7th chapter. If not, I'll find it. Right? So here's the family tree. I'm going to have to find it real quick. Slocky, bear with me. Exodus, the 6th chapter. All right, off one chapter. And, in the ancient world, that's how marriages were done. Right? The sons of God were commanded to deal with the daughters of their own bloodline. Right now, if you have a wife that's a Judite, is that incest? No, that's not incest. Even though y'all are directly related by blood and y'all have a common ancestor, it's not incest, man. Right? When you read Leviticus, the 18th chapter, it's clearly broken down. Right? But the Most High has certain alleged exceptions and certain things that happen. Right? This is Exodus chapter 6 and 20. Let's see if that's what I want to start. And Amram took Jochebed, his father's sister, to wife, and she bare him Aaron and Moses, and the years of the life of Amram were 137 years. Right? So you had Jochebed. Now, the word sister doesn't always mean your blood sister on your father's side. My wife is my wife is a sister, right? Your wife is a sister. If she's an Israelite, you know, Tobit called his wife his sister. Were they actually sisters? No, they were related off the same tribe. Right? Now, when you get let me pull this up, the family tree of Abraham. Right? So the sons of Shem, when they first got off the ark, when they had their children, the sons of Shem, they dealt with the daughters of Ham and the daughters of Japheth. But as the sons of Shem began to multiply and grow, they dealt with people of their own bloodline. The Hamites dealt with the Hamites, the Japhites dealt with the Japhites, and the Shemites dealt with the Shemites. And that's just how it went down. You know? So here's the bloodline of Abraham, right? So Abraham married Sarah. Abraham, Nahor, and Haran were all brothers. Now, when you go down the bloodline of Abraham, we know Abraham and Sarah. That's why it's good to study these genealogies, right? They had Isaac. Now, check this out. Abraham and Nahor are actual blood brothers. Nahor's granddaughter is Rebekah, which would make Rebekah Abraham's great niece. Bethuel is Abraham's nephew. Rebekah is Abraham's great niece. So Abraham's son married his great niece. You see that? So you may say, hold on, that's weird. Why would Abraham allow his son to marry his nephew's daughter? Well, I mean, that's how things were done in the ancient world. We didn't have this Western mindset when everything is, well, that's weird. In the ancient world, things were a lot different, right? It was about the preservation of the bloodline. It was about keeping the commandments. It was about the Lord said in Sirach, the 26th chapter, take when thou hast found a fruitful possession, sow it with thy own seed, trusting in the goodness of thy stock, so thy race shall be magnified. So yes, Abraham's son married Abraham's great niece. Now, would you do that today? Would you do that today? Would the brother say, okay, my son, now you more than likely wouldn't do that today due to the societal hindering in your mind, but also due to what's the word I'm looking for? The selections that you have now. You don't have to do that. This was at a point in the beginning of Abraham's bloodline when these things had to be done. But now you don't have to do that because there's so many more daughters of Zion out there. That's when Abraham's family was kind of small. So these things had to be done. And it was approved by Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua. Now, when you go down this bloodline, Isaac's son is who? Jacob. Now, check this out. Jacob married Rachel. Now, remember, Rebekah is the sister of Laban. Laban's daughters are Rachel and Leah. So Jacob had to marry his cousins. Right? He had to marry his actual cousins. And like I said, these things had to be done. Right? That's the way that life was in the ancient world. But as you go down in genealogy, more diversity appeared. Right? More diversity appears. So when you go down to you go down to the sons of Jacob, you find out that a lot of these men, they dealt with the Canaanite women. Right? It wasn't a great selection of Hebrew women to deal with. So they had to deal with the women of the other nations, just for the sake of keeping that bloodline alive. All right. But Leviticus 18, not to be long-winded, but Leviticus 18 defines exactly what's prohibited. But you had certain exceptions at certain times due to the Most High creating nations and putting that bloodline forth, right? So yes, when the sons of God came out and they had to replenish the earth, they had to do it by laying down, you know. So let's move on to the next question. Right? Am I telling you to deal with your second cousin right now? No. Right? I'm not saying that. Am I telling you, okay, well, Abraham, you know, I'm waiting on my great niece, right? You're looking at your damn great niece. Stop looking at your great niece, right? To everything, there's a season and a time and purpose for every work under heaven. That time for that time, right? Well, you know, my second cousin, they did say, you know, no, brother. But, you know, we're going to move on. We're going to move on because brothers, you know, start freaking off, man. Let's see. Next question. Bear with me. If we make it, okay, this is from Anthony Knox. If we make it to the pilgrimage stage, do we roam in the woods or the city parts? Just asking. Right? Well, let's pull this up. If we make it to the pilgrimage stage, for brothers that don't know what the brother means by the pilgrimage stage, let's go to the Apocrypha. Right? Let's go to 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter. What is his pilgrimage stage the brother's making reference to? Right? This 2nd Ezra, so like you bear with me. Chapter 16. And I want to go to verse 40. Right? So like you bear with me, is this showing? All right, Slacky, let me make sure the screen is showing. All right, 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and 40. It reads, O my people, hear my word, make you ready to the battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. So in the days of Jacob's trouble and the days of the peak and the mid height of World War III, in the days of global famine, in the days of societal uproar and the destruction and the destructure of governments and military and elite powers, and in the days of pandemonium, Yahushua spoke of commotions and troubles. In those days, when there's no order, man is going to be a pilgrim on earth, looking for food, fleeing persecution, you know, trying to move on and find somewhere to survive and secure himself and his household. We eventually won't be in comfortable conditions. So enjoy the roof over your head now. You know, enjoy, you know, your chair and, you know, your comfortable bed, because the days draw nigh when you're going to be on the move. You know, you're going to be in a move. While you may start off in Baltimore, but by the time the Lord returns, you may be somewhere in damn Iowa, man. You're not going to be able to have GPS and say, now we're approaching Iowa, right? 5 more miles to, no, you're going to be on the go. Now, the brother asked, let me look at the brother's question again. The brother asked, if we make it to the pilgrimage, do we roam in the woods or the city parts? Just asking. Now, ultimately, brother, it's not up to you. It's not up to you where you're going to go. And there's no, okay, well, the Most High said, thou shalt surely dwell in the cities. And if you dwell in the cities, you'll be protected. Right? Now, I want to get this precept. It's up to the Most High. I want to go to Jeremiah. Salakia. I believe it's 2 Kings. I'm gonna have to find it. Right? Let me get this precept. Right? In the book of Second Kings chapter 7 and verse 4. I'm gonna start at 3. 2 Kings 7 and 3. It's not what I'm looking for, but I'm gonna get the precept most I will. But this also adds to it. And there were 4 leprous men at the entering in of the gate, And they said one to another, why sit here until we die? If we say we will enter into the city, right, Salakia, if we say we will enter into the city, then the famine is in the city, and we shall die there. And if we sit still, we die also. Now, therefore, let us fall into the host of the Syrians. If they save us alive, we shall live. And if they kill us, we shall but die. Right? So the Most High said, you'll have famines in the cities, but even outside the cities, if you stay there, you'll die. Right? I want Jeremiah 14. So it's not a place, okay, should I go to the city? There may be destruction or hell breaking loose in the city. You may say, okay, if I leave the city and I'm in the woods, you may have robbers and bandits and militias self-made in the hood, man, or in the woods, right? So only Yahweh Bashmi Abashah is going to be your safeguard and your fortress. And that's where faith comes in. The carnal man is going to say, I can deliver myself by going to the nearest city. And the carnal man may also say, let me leave the city, and so on. So now if you see destruction and all hell breaking loose in your area, I mean, you're going to make moves, but ultimately that's not up to you. It's up to the Most High. Because the Most High can put in your spirit to stay in that location and be destroyed. So you want to have faith in those days that the Most High direct your steps and truth, for deliverance. Jeremiah chapter 14, and I'm going to start at 17. Therefore thou shalt say this word unto them, let mine eyes run down with tears night and day, and let them not cease. For the virgin daughter of my people is broken with a great breach, with a grievous blow. So let's read about the grievous blow and destruction. If I go into the field, then behold, the slain with the sword. And if I enter into the city, then behold them that are sick with famine. Yea, both the prophet and the priest go about into a land that they know not. So there's really no safeguard. If it was up to man, there's no safe place. Should I go to the city? Should I dwell in the woods? It's not up to you, brother, because we're showing you in 2 Kings, right? It's like, bear with me, absolute folly, right? So we're showing you right now, there's no safe place for man. It's not up to the man. Because if you go in the field, you got men, the Lord could kill you with the sword by robbers. You may have guys out there trying to take your book bag, and people setting, what are those lines, trip lines, and you cross the line and the bell ring, and the guy, he hears it from his house 20 yards away, and he runs to the gun. Then he shoots you and steals all your goods, man. You got people, they're going to be digging ditches to catch men, covering it up with leaves. You're walking in the woods, you fall in this damn ditch, it was covered with leaves, man. Then you start screaming, and that guy, he hears it, and he comes down and then shoots you, man. Grabs you up by a rope and eats you. Or you're walking, and this guy's with damn ghillie suits on, man, in the woods. They're buying ghillie suits, you're running across these doomsday preppers, and they run up in your sleep, they mace you, and they tase you, they tie you up, you wake up in their basement, man, doing God knows what for them. That's all hell could break loose outside the city, man. But even in the city, all hell could break loose. And the Lord said in 2nd Ezra, you have guys just hiding out in the bushes, man. Right? This 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and verse 28. It reads, for of a city there should be 10 left, and 2 of the field, which shall hide themselves in the thick groves and in the clefts of the rock. So you might have guys hiding out in abandoned houses. You think nobody's there. You're walking in a desolate town. It's boarded up. Nobody's there. Then these guys jump out this abandoned house and grab you up, man. They didn't eat breakfast and lunch, and you became their dinner. Or as an orchard of olives, upon every tree there are left 3 or 4 olives. Or when as a vineyard is gathered, there are left some clusters of them that diligently seek through the vineyard. Even so in those days, right, this 2nd Ezra 16 and 31, there should be 3 or 4 left by them that search their houses with the sword. So we showed you what can happen outside the city, and you have men in the city going house by house, kicking it down, breaking it down, looking for food. Right? I mean, that's how it works. So ultimately, it's going to be up to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Right? Let's go to 1 Kings to direct your steps in truth. And that's when we put our faith in the Most High. We don't put our faith in man. Right? A lot of men, they have plans. Men say, okay, we're going to build a tunnel. Right? We're going to build a tunnel and escape. You think this? So the Lord said in Ezekiel chapter 28 that there's no secret. It's like, bear with me. Right? There is no secret that you can hide from the so-called white man. So you think okay, I'm gonna go off the grid. He'll never find me. It would, if the Most High want to find you, he'll find you. It's not up to man. You have people that say we're going to meet up at this central location. Brother, those are your plans. Are those the plans of the Most High? Now, it's not saying the Most High can't prosper your plan, but also the Most High can overthrow your plan. If you put more faith into your plan instead of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, then you find yourself in a problem. If you have a plan and you pray that the Most High direct your plan, that's a different story. But also, you want to put your trust solely in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, even if your plan don't work. Right? This is 1 Kings chapter 17 and verse 1. And Elijah the Tishbite, who was of the inhabitants of Gilead, said unto Ahab, as the Lord God of Israel liveth, before whom I stand, there shall not be dew nor rain these years, but according to my word. So Elijah said, it won't rain unless I say so. And the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, get thee hence, and turn thee eastward, and hide thyself by the brook Cherith that is before Jordan. And it shall be that thou shalt drink up the brook, and I have commanded the ravens to feed thee there. So the Lord is going to tell you where to go. Right? The Lord had a secret spot for Elijah to go to, for him to be fed. So he didn't have to worry about, boy, I don't know what I'm going to do. The Lord is going to visit you. Rather it's a dream, an angel, or the Lord is putting your thoughts to move in the right direction. This ultimately is up to the Most High. You know? And he actually commanded the ravens to feed Elijah, man. Now, even when you jump down, check this out. 1 Kings chapter 17 and verse 9. Arise, get thee to Zarephath, which belongeth to Zidon, and dwell there. Behold, I have commanded a widow woman there to sustain thee. So the Lord could put the spirit on a woman, a man, your enemy, to take care of you. So you don't have to worry about. You see how the Lord is directing Elijah's steps? Let's go to 2 Kings, the 4th chapter. Then I'm going to move on to the next question. Right? So, Laki, bear with me. Let's go to 2 Kings, the 4th chapter. And Elijah was thoroughly taken care of because he had faith in the Most High. You know? This is 2 Kings chapter 4 and verse 8. 2 Kings 4 and 8. And it fell on a day that Elisha passed to Shunem, where was a great woman, and she constrained him to eat bread. And it was so that as oft as he passed by, he turned and thither to eat bread. So the Lord put the spirit in this woman to constrain the prophet to eat bread. And she said unto her husband, behold, now I perceive that this is an holy man of God, which passeth by us continually. Salakia, let us make a little chamber, I pray thee, on the wall, and let us set for him there a bed, and a table, and a stool, and a candlestick, and it shall be when he cometh to us that he shall turn in thither. And it fell on a day that he came thither and turned into the chamber and lay there. So the Lord is always taking care of the prophets and the servants of the Most High. He'll put the spirit on the woman to make you a dwelling place, put the spirit on the woman to feed you, put the spirit on animals to take care of you. So you don't have to wonder, okay, should I go in the city? Should I go in the field? I don't know. Just keep your faith in Yahweh Bashim Mashiach like Yahushua. Right? The Lord said in Proverbs, the 3rd chapter, 3 and 5 through 6, trust in the Lord with all thy heart, lean not on thine own understanding. and all thy ways acknowledge him, right? Proverbs 3 and 5. These are these classic precepts that we need to know, right? These are the things that we need to know. Proverbs chapter 3 and 5. Trust in Yahweh, Bashmi Abashai, with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. Because a man to say, well, I have this underground tunnel or the central location. I know without a shadow of a doubt it will deliver me and my son. You know, bug out bags. I think in New York, they're telling their citizens now to get a bug out bag, man. Literally, they're telling their citizens, pull this up. Right? They made a public service announcement to get a bug out bag. Why? Why are they telling their citizens to get a bug out bag? What's the big deal? When has this ever been done? You know? Because they know it's about to go down. They know something that the average American doesn't know. They know it's about to hit the fan. And this is, I believe 3-4 weeks after they just told them how to find the nearest fallout shelter. They told them, okay, in the event that bombs are dropping, or war, or World War III, ICBM missiles, you hear a threat, here's how you find the nearest fallout shelter. And right after that, they're telling them about a bug out bag. Check this out. New York City Emergency Management. A go bag has everything you need in case you need to leave home in a hurry. You know, every household member should have one, including kids. What will you pack? Non-perishable snacks, bottled waters, copies of important documents. They tried to fancy it up. They put the little video games in there to make it little puzzle pieces for the kids. Get your kids, a little bug out bag, little, was that a protractor, a compass, a rubber ducky, and they tried to sweeten it up, man. This thing is about to go down. You're not going to take a rubber ducky. Okay, they got the Game Boy Advance, right? Game Boy Advance. They got the damn, the rolled up red blankie. Goddamn, they got blankie, man. Teddy bears. They're telling their people now to get the bug out bag. So people are making plans, man. They're making big moves. Okay, we're going to get our go bag, AA batteries, Band-Aids, what else? Guns, extra ammunition, hand sanitizer, rubbing alcohol, flashlights, lighters, Flintstones to start a fire. And they're getting ready for this thing. Right? Let's see people. See, somebody said, this is something you find on a prepper survivalist website. Is there something you like to tell us? So people, they're getting hit, man. Trying to figure out what's going on. Why are you telling me to get a go bag? Look at this. You got people saying Nintendo Switch, check. ID and passport, check. Flashlight, check. Gummy bears and Skittles, check. Right? I'm ready. Let's nuke this. So people don't know what's going on. 93 people liked it. Nobody knows what they're not taking this thing serious, man. And ultimately they're going to be destroyed. Nobody's going to survive the destruction if you're not in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. So people don't know what's going on. You literally have their people telling them prepare with bug out bags. But what did Yahweh Bashim Yahushua say? Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. And you don't want to be wise in your own eyes and think that you have the master plan. And this is not up to you, brother. It's not up to you, sister. You want to fear Yahweh Bashim Yahushua and pray for guidance and direction in those days. Let me get one more precept on that question, then I'll move on. This is Ecclesiasticus, the 5th chapter. Right? This Ecclesiasticus chapter 5 and verse 1. Right? It reads, set not thy heart upon thy goods, and say not, I have enough of my life. It don't say, man, I'm looking at my bug out bag. I have enough batteries to last 10 years. I have enough chicken noodle soup to go 4 years. All right, I built a shelter in my backyard on the ground. I can make it. I have enough beans to last me 10 years. I have enough for my life. The Lord said, don't do that. He could take that away from you just like that. And the Lord said that they'll spoil your goods in 2nd Ezra 16th chapter. He said, you'll be cast out your house. Follow not thine own mind and thy strength to walk in the ways of thy heart. And say not, who shall control me for my works? For the Lord will surely revenge thy pride. So the Lord is not dealing with the brother who thinks he's untouchable. Right? Who thinks that based off of his labor, no evil can ever befall him. Who can control me? Who can stop me now? The Lord's going to revenge your pride. He's going to catch up with you, man. He's going to deal with you. Then the Most High going to touch you, man. Right? This Ecclesiasticus 32. Right? Let's go to Ecclesiasticus, same book, the 32nd chapter. Right? This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 32 and 21. Be not confident in a plain way. Right? That's plain. You don't want to be confident in a plain way. Meaning what? You become simple. I'll just walk in traffic. Yeah, I know it's a red light and I'm supposed to stop, right? And the pedestrian sign, I can't walk yet. Hey, but guess what? I got angels around me. Let me just walk in the midst of traffic. Brother, now you tempting the Most High. Let me just jump off this building. Right? The Lord said the angels are with me. The Lord delivered thee in all. You read these precepts before you jump off a building. You read in Psalms 91, Psalms 34 and 19. All his bones aren't broken. You go into all those precepts about your bones not being broken. Then you say, ha ha. Then you jump off the building, man. Okay, and as you fall on, you thinking that the Most High, you're thinking about the Lord said all of his bones aren't broken. You think that, brother, that doesn't apply to you right now, brother. Being a creep. And the Most High is going to destroy you confident in a plain way. You know? So let's move on to the next question. All right. So hopefully, brother, that answered your question. Okay, next question. Okay, from Terrell Barnett. And Psalms chapter 81 and 3. It's like I want to make sure this pulls up on the screen. Right? And Psalms 81 and 3, can you break down in the time appointed on our solemn feast day? Is this solemn feast day the Passover and the time appointed the full moon? I do believe the new moon is the dark moon. All right, Salaki, let's deal with it. Right? So when you go to Psalms 81, it's speaking about a specific event. Right? A specific event. The Exodus. Right? The time of us departing from Egypt. And we'll break it down. I'm gonna be try to be a little more quick with these questions due to time. Right? Because I want to do another live after this, most I willing. But Psalms chapter 81 and 1. Sing aloud unto God, our strength, make a joyful noise unto the God of Jacob. Take a psalm and bring hither the timbrel, the pleasant harp with the psaltery. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon and the time appointed on our solemn feast day, for this was a statute for Israel in the law of the God of Jacob. This he ordained, so the law was ordained in Joseph, meaning in the nation of Israel, for a testimony when he went out through the land of Egypt, where I heard a language that I understood not. So Psalms 81, 1 through 5 is speaking about a commandment that was given as we were departing from Egypt. What was given? with a concept of blowing up the trumpet in the new moon and the time appointed. So the time appointed, when you go into this word, is speaking really about the Passover, right? Because it's dealing with the Exodus. We left Egypt on the Passover. All right. So we'll go into this word and I'll break it down just so brothers understand it's speaking about really the Passover. All right. That's that time appointed. Right. See, it says full moon. Right. So it says, yes, the new moon, but the time appointed is the full moon because that new moon is the beginning of your month of bid, but the specific time is the full moon. And the new moon, when it says new moon, it's a new month. So what the Lord is saying on the first month of the year, during the time of the full moon, I want you to blow up the trumpet, right? To regard the Exodus and the deliverance that I gave you. We left Egypt on the day of the full moon. When does the full moon fall? In the middle of the month. What shows that a full moon can't be a new moon. I mean, it's plain. You can't have a full moon on the Passover, then have a full moon 2 weeks prior. It's just ridiculous. Right? So that's speaking about us leaving Egypt. All right, so let's move on. Next question. All right. Again, Terrell Barnett, do you have any advice on joining the camp? There are a lot out there, right? Do you have any advice? Slocky, bear with me 1 second. Right? Do you have any advice on joining the camp? There are a lot out there. Now, I'll say this. Yes, you have a lot of camps out there, but you want to be able to find, if you plan on joining the camp, you want to be able to find the camp that you agree with, right? In terms of doctrine, you want to get a feel for the brothers. You know, I want to get 3 quick precepts on the brotherhood. You want to see if, you know, you guys mesh through the spirit. You know, that may take time. But this is Ecclesiasticus chapter 37. Right? Now, I'm not going to join a camp. If I believe that the full moon is the new moon, I'm not going to join a camp with brothers that believe the new moon is the full moon. Or it's like it, that believe that the new moon is the dark moon. Or if I believe the Sabbath is based off of the new moon, why would I join a camp that teaches that that the Sabbath is Friday sundown to Saturday sundown? And vice versa. Right? The Lord said in Sirach 37:12, but be continually with the godly man, whom thou knowest to keep the commandments of the Lord, whose mind is according to thy mind, and will sorrow with thee that thou shalt miscarry. So you want a brother whose mind is according to your mind, who thinks the way you think, who agree on what you agree with, in terms of doctrine, in terms of understanding, you know, because that can cause a lot of confusion. And you don't want to join a congregation just for the sake of joining when you don't even agree with what they teach, because now you're going up. The Lord said, whatsoever is not of faith is sin. So you're just going along. The Lord is not dealing with the go along to get along spirit, right? Okay, there's no brothers in my area. Just going to join these brothers who don't believe in Yahweh Shah. Because guess what? That spirit is going to hop on you. And now you're going to stop believing in Yahweh Shah. They're going to take you to their nasty backyard where they're offering bullocks. And their neighbors are complaining. Or the blood. They don't believe in the blood of Yahweh Shah. So they built the altar, which is really a foreman's grill. And they're offering up wings, man. And chickens. And cows. Saying that these are their sacrifices. Waiting on David, their king. The Lord isn't dealing with that, man. And you say, well, I want to join the camp just because, there's no brothers in my area. These are the closest brothers in my area. They don't believe in Yahweh Shah, but I'm going to link up with them. Hey, brother, that's the wrong move. Romans chapter 14 and verse 22. Hast thou faith? Have it to thyself before the Most High. Happy is he that condemneth not himself, and that thing which he alloweth. So if you believe in his truth, have it to yourself before the Most High, man. You know, you don't want to be in this thing and like the Lord said, let not the reverence of any man cause thee to fall. No way in hell am I going to join the congregation that teaches that the Edomites can make it. And I don't believe that. I believe that the Edomites are the wicked. And if they're going to go into slavery, then they're going to be exterminated off the face of the earth. I believe that, and I'm going to have that faith in myself before the Most High. And happy is he that condemneth not himself in the thing which he alloweth. And he that doubteth is now this is ultimately dealing with food sacrifice to idols, but it applies to faith. You know, it reads, and you got madness coming up. Right? It reads, and he that doubteth is damned if he eat, because he eateth not of faith. For whatsoever is not of faith is sin. So it's a sin if you do something that's not of faith and you condemning yourself. I know I shouldn't be here with these brothers. I really don't believe what they believe. But I'm going to blow up the trumpet anyway. You're blowing up the trumpet on a dark moon, but you really believe it's a full moon. I shouldn't be doing this. I don't really believe it. Then you blow the trumpet anyway. Being a pretender. The Lord is going to destroy you, brother. Because you don't believe that. And now you're in sin. Here you are keeping a Sabbath day based off the new moon, but you really don't believe that. You're just doing it because, you know, your cousin's doing it or somebody else is doing it. You know? And like I said, ultimately, you're going to be cut down in the land of the living. So when it comes to, you know, joining congregations, you want to go there, you want to try the spirits of those men, right? Like the Lord said in 1 John 4, right? The Lord said, try the spirits, whether they are of God. You might have heard that a congregation is the congregation for you until you get there in person, right? And you find out that it's not what you thought it was, right? They're robbing you and guys are making you do God knows what, you know, and it's like a fraternity or it's of the world or whatever the case may be, right? 1 John 4:1. But beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits and whether they are of the Most High. Because many false prophets are going out into the world. So you want to try the spirits. The word try means to prove, to test. Right? So you want to test to see, okay, are these guys really about the Most High? There's a lot of brothers that's on the internet that you may see that may look like they're righteous. Then you see them in person and or after camp, they're doing God knows what. At camp, their name is what's a common Hebrew name? I'll just use the word Gabar. That's a common Hebrew name. If your name is Gabar, I'm not talking about you unless you're doing this, right? You got brothers named like Gabar. They'll be Gabar at camp. Let's say their name is Rel in the world, Rel or T, you know, or Jamal. So at camp, they're Gabar, and then as soon as the sun goes down at the camp, they turn into Rel. He said, man, don't call me Gabar, man. Cap is over. I ain't with that shit. I'm Rel from over east, from the west side, man. You say, hold on, brother. I thought on YouTube, you said, Shalom. My name is, Shalom is Brother Gabar, here to break the precepts down. Yahweh Bashmi Abashah. Then as soon as you're done the live, you turn the damn T, man. You put your beater on, and you do God knows what in the night, man. So you want to put these spirits to the test, right? You want to try these spirits before you join the congregation. You want to try the leadership. You want to ask leadership questions. You want to be able to see if these brothers moving in the spirit, before you join the camp. And every brother should do that. Because then you may join the camp and then you're like, what the hell is going on, man? These guys are eating pork. These guys are freaking off. Then you get caught in that madness, right? So, you want to look well to your goings, pursuing the Proverbs chapter 22 and 3. So there are a lot of camps out there. So just pray to Yahweh Bashim Abashai that he direct your steps in truth and, take the counsel that was given. Okay, Adelja, like I said, Salaki, if I'm mispronouncing the names wrong. Where does the mark of the beast come into play with regards to this coming war? This is another good question. A lot of good questions on the Shabbat, right? A lot of good questions on the Shabbat, right? So what we teach here at WFI is that there's not, Slocky, bear with me, right? Bear with me 1 second. All right, there's not an actual physical mark that they're going to put inside of you, right? They have the technology to do so, and we're not denying that. And neither are we saying accept it or take it or put anything inside of you. That's a sin, even according to the Bible, Leviticus 19, putting cuttings in your flesh. The mark is spiritual. So it's not as if here comes a white man, here's the mark. No, the mark has always been here, and that's the deception of it. And the mark is accepting the philosophies and doctrines of the so-called white man and performing them with your hand, meaning with your works, right? And they're already here to this day. So when you go to Revelation, I want to get this precept. Let's go to Revelation, the 9th chapter. Right? Let's go to Revelation 9. We've thoroughly proved that through a plethora of verses in the Bible. Right? There's no account of in the Bible, okay, here comes the so-called white man. Here's everybody's gonna have to take this. It's not in the Bible, right? It's not in the scriptures, nowhere, right? And we can thoroughly go into that all day long. We have complete confidence, humbly speaking, to be able to dissect and dismantle that, right? Now this is Revelation chapter 9 and verse 4. And it was commanded them that they should not, neither them is dealing with the war helicopters of World War III, the warplanes, the jets. These are the locusts spiritually, right? It's not actual locusts. This is technology that John the Revelator saw that pertains to the end times, right? Revelation 9 and 4. And it was commanded. And how do you know it's the end times? Because this is during the time of what? The 5th trumpet. Now, the trumpets don't sound until the 7th seal is open, right? So, Revelation 9 and 4. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. Right. So, the seal of God in your forehead, it's not a literal seal inside of your forehead. You know, certain brothers, I would say this, certain doctrines, they take words and they make a complete understanding off of one word instead of off of the precepts, right? The Lord said in Psalms 119 and 104, through thy precepts I get understanding. Therefore I hate every false way. So you have precepts in the Bible to be able to help you understand particular concepts, doctrines, breakdowns, prophecies in the Bible. So these war helicopters, World War III, the destruction is going to befall everybody except the men who have the seal. If you have the seal in your forehead, you'll be fine. Now, it says in their forehead. In means inside. Is there an actual seal inside of these men? Right? Let's go into this word seal. Right? I want to go into this. Because Revelation 13 says you'll have a mark in your forehead. So all throughout the Bible, it's never physical till you get to Revelation, the 13th chapter. I mean, that's absolute madness. So here's the word seal.
G 4973.
Right now it means a seal, a signet ring, an inscription or impression made by a seal of the name of the Most High and the Mashiach Yahushua stamped upon their foreheads. Now, suppose we were to go into the Greek for this word and say and make a doctrine off of it. Just think about the logic of us taking a word and making a doctrine and say, well, we're waiting on the Most High to seal these men. And in order to prove it, we go to the Greek and say, you see, it means stamped upon their forehead. So the Most High is going to stamp. That would be foolish. Just like it is irrational and not comely to go into Revelation, the 13th chapter, see the word mark, see it means charagma, and apply it to an RFID chip and just make a whole breakdown off of it. You know, this thing is not literal, right? Let's go to Revelation, the 17th chapter. And we're going through the precepts, I mean, just to show you that. Then we'll go to Revelation, the 13th chapter, right? This is, and well, there's a lot we can get into with that, but this is Revelation chapter 17 and 5. And there was and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Now, I believe this word written in the Greek is graphos. Now, this word graphos means to inscribe, right? Or etch or carve, right? That's what the word graphos means. Now, is it literally carved in her mind? Is it etched and engraved? No. You can't just go into a word and start freaking off, man. Play a dangerous game like that. All right, you're playing a dangerous game. Right, here's the word graphos. To write and reference to the form of letters. To write, to draw up. Use of those things that stand written. Express written in characters. To write. To describe, right? To grave. Right? When you engrave something, you carve it in. Right? You carve it in. That's what the word means. Right? So it doesn't mean it's literally graven in or written in. It's just speaking about it's in their mind. Right? That's the mind of Babylon the Great. They are the mystery of iniquity. Right? Or really the so-called white man's a mystery of iniquity, but Babylon the Great, they're the ones causing massive confusion on the earth. Now, when you deal with Revelation, the 13th chapter, let's deal with it. Right? And like the brother said, there are 0 precepts for this chip being the mark of the beast. There are no other precepts. There are no precepts you can go to in the Bible to validate that. We can go through many precepts about the missiles. We can go to many precepts about the famine, just about every major prophecy in the Bible, right? But we cannot go in the Bible and show you. We can go in the Bible and show you precepts about many things, man. Right? But there's no precepts on this. Revelation chapters 13 and 15. And he had power. I'm gonna get straight to the point. Verse 16. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in the forehead. The word mark in the Greek is charagma. Charagma means to etch or engrave. Right? Let's go into this word. And this is brother's haymaker, allegedly. Right? And this is not attacking brothers, but I know hundreds of brothers that teach this. Right? Charagma, stamp or imprinted mark. Now that's the same definition that we read about in Revelation, the 9th chapter, the seal, a stamp. So you have one on the right hand side and you have one on the left hand side. There's no righteous chip that the Most High is going to put on your hand and a righteous stamp on your forehead. Then you have a wicked one that goes on your hand and your forehead. How is a stamp an RFID chip? And a stamp isn't inside of you. A stamp is on top, on the surface. I just don't get it. Of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist. The mark branded upon horses, things carved, sculpture, graven work of idolatrous image. I don't even know how you get an RFID chip out of this, right? I mean, I have no idea. How? Where? I mean, I know I'm at a loss for words, scratch or etching, but how does this equate to an injection of an RFID chip in your head, and then they put one in your forehead? So they do frontal lobe like a lobotomy. Then they put a chip in because they got to do both, right? It says forehead and right hand. So they'll have to put a chip in your forehead and they'll have to put one strictly in your right hand. It can't be left, can't be wrist. Biblically, it has to be always your right hand. What if you don't have a right hand? Are you going to survive? You have people that literally don't have hands. They may have one arm. Are these guys going to make it? Do they have the ability to take the mark of the beast? Or have they been handicapped to preserve? Can you be wicked without a right hand and still make it? Because the Lord said everybody's going to take the mark of the beast. That's not the elect. You have guys they can be wicked as hell. I've seen it. Seen wicked. This guy that walked past the harbor all day, he's missing a hand. He's off. He never listens to the word of the Most High. He has no right hand. How can he take the an RFID chip, man? No, we're gonna have to do another breakdown. I don't want to start getting long-winded because it has to be your right hand. That shows you, that's not what it's going into. Your right hand represents your works, right? And your forehead represents your mind. And it's a concept that's always mentioned throughout the Bible. Exodus 13:9, Deuteronomy 11:17 on down, Deuteronomy chapter 6 and 6 on down. It's a reoccurring biblical concept of your forehead being your mind and your right hand being your works. But I'm gonna move on for sake of time, right? I may get one more, then Slocky, bear with me 1 second. I'm gonna be able to get this. All right, I want to get on to these next questions. Right, Salaki, bear with me. I'm having technical difficulties. Right, bear with me. What happened to the main channel? So the main Cold Cuts channel is suspended until the end of August. Right? I believe maybe the middle of August. So we got 2 strikes on the Cold Cuts channel. Right? 2 strikes on the Cold Cuts channel. So that's why we've been using this channel, trying to get on it more. And even after that channel's back up, we'll still be on this channel a lot. Right? But with that, I'm going to close up. Giving, of course, our honor and glory to Yahweh. I'm going to do another live right after this. Most I willing, you are edified. Kwame Shalom. Shalom.